Welcome to the Daily Dharma, a gentle podcast where we read a philosophical story every week and reflect on how it relates to everyday life. Our focus is to use Buddhist philosophy to understand the complexity of modern life and find achievable and accessible pathways to peace and happiness. Hi everyone, welcome to the Daily Dharma. In this episode, we'll be talking about the immovable mind, what it is, and how we can learn to cultivate it. The story that we'll be reflecting on this theme is called The Storm Chaser's Resolve, and it comes from the book The Zen Mirror by Kai T. Morano. Here is how the story goes. In the vast open plains of the world, where the sky stretches endlessly and the wind whispers secrets of the earth, there lived a storm chaser named Elijah. Known for his fearless pursuit of tornadoes, Elijah had always been drawn to the heart of the storm, a place where nature's raw power and beauty converge. Yet his pursuit was not just for the thrill. It was a quest for understanding, a way to connect with something greater than himself. Elijah's journey into storm chasing was sparked by a childhood memory, a day when a fierce tornado had skirted his hometown. While others sought shelter, young Elijah stood by the window, mesmerized by the tornado's majestic force. But the life of a storm chaser is fraught with unpredictability and danger as well. Elijah had faced countless close calls, moments when the sky turned against him and the survival that he had seemed a mere toss of fate. It was during one such chase, as he navigated through a particularly violent storm, that Elijah encountered the essence of the immovable mind. Surrounded by chaos, with the tornado tearing a path of destruction through the plains, Elijah's mind reached a state of clarity. In the face of danger, his fear dissolved, replaced by an immovable calm. His decisions became instinctive, guided by deep, unwavering focus. In that moment, Elijah embodied the immovable mind, his spirit untouched by the swirling tumult around him. This experience marked a turning point for Elijah. He began to seek the stillness within the storm, not just outside in the field, but in every aspect of his life. The immovable mind became his anchor, allowing him to face life's challenges with a newfound resilience. Whether navigating a personal loss, confronting failure, or standing in the path of a twister, Elijah's mind remained steadfast, his resolve unshaken. His story of facing the storm teaches us that within each of our hearts lies an untapped well of strength, a center of calm that can withstand life's most ferocious storms. This immovable mind is not born of indifference, but of a profound connection to the present moment, a deep rootedness in one's own being. In listening to the story, I'm often reminded by moments of deep joy and also of deep fear, where the mind truly becomes very silent and immovable. One such moment I had was when I encountered a ferocious lightning storm as a child. And at first, I was deeply frightened because the lightning and the thunder was so dramatic, and I genuinely wanted to hide. But then, in just staying still and observing the entire scene patiently, I began to see how beautiful it truly was. The rain falling in patterns that curved with the wind, the lightning striking in different angles and at different frequencies, and the thunder. Each peal of thunder was different and unique. And all in all, instead of being frightened, I slowly became deeply mesmerized by the scene of the storm, very similar to how I'm sure Elijah feels each time he finds himself in the eye of a storm. And I think curiosity and openness is what leads us to that place of the immovable mind, because it allows us just for a moment to let go of the future, to let go of the past, and to truly give the present moment priority within ourselves. And when we do that, we start to let go of all of the additional thoughts and feelings and misgivings that we have that are constantly swirling around us. And we become very focused on one thing that is taking all of our attention. And in that moment, our mind is still. It's finally taking a rest from the constant running it does to the past, to the future, to our thoughts of likes and dislikes, to our opinions we have of this and that. Finally, the mind is still. And of course, the goal is to be able to reach the state without an external stimulus like a lightning storm, because we're not so lucky that such a beautiful sight is always in front of us. But whenever we have moments like this, I think they provide an important clue of how we can learn to cultivate that within ourselves. And it's simply in stripping away all of the things that essentially blind us from the exact moment that we are experiencing right now. And in order to get to the right now, we have to actually let go of a lot of the things that regularly occupy our thoughts. Things like our to-do list, our opinions, our perspectives. Things like the anxieties and stresses we have about the future, about the past. All of these parts of ourselves that have grown so familiar with how many times we've encountered them in our minds, but we find difficult to let go of. I myself find myself having to give myself permission to actually be in the present and let go about anxieties or to-do lists about the future, because in some way I think our productivity focused society has very much conditioned us to always want to think about the future, plan for the future, anticipate the future, so that we're not left hanging when something happens and we don't expect it. And while this mindset is good if we are simply trying to survive, If we want our mind to finally stop running, if we want our mind to be still and to become a center within us of calm, we have to learn to let go of that tendency to give our minds a break once in a while. Because, of course, in our daily lives, in our work, we do have to brainstorm about the future. But in running and running and running, it can become so exhausting on ourselves, and thus giving yourself the permission to be mesmerized by a storm, to be fully enraptured by one thing, and then finally allowing those moments to lead you to simply let go of all of the different thoughts and feelings and experiences that are within you, so you can really just be with yourself. In doing that, we're giving ourselves the permission to rest, to be still. And in doing so, we re-energize our minds. And in being more energized, we are so much more better equipped to deal with uncertainty, with loss, with the natural change that comes from life. Because finally, we have found a way to cultivate peace from all of the things that are bothering us, a place that is untouched by time, by change, by all the things that usually stress us out. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. I want to give a special thank you to Kevin and PJ for reaching out to me over email as well. And if you ever have a question or thoughts you'd like to share with me, please email me at thedailydharmapodcast@gmail.com. Aside from that, I hope you have a beautiful, safe, and joyful week ahead of us. Until next week.